Hello, everybody. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all students hosted by the Illinois Association for College Admission Counseling and Strive Scan. For all of our participants, how to ask a question, use the question and answer button to type your questions to the presenters at any time. Your camera and your microphone are off. You're muted, your video is off. Panelists cannot see or hear you. Sign up for more sessions, please. There are several hundred sessions for you to choose from, and we encourage you to do so at the website, www.iacac.org. Recording for all sessions will be available afterwards at iacac.org. And at this point, I will turn it over and allow my panelists to welcome themselves.
Thank you so much. I'm Daryl Jones with Gettysburg College in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. We're a college of liberal arts and sciences, just like those of my colleagues. And today we're going to talk to you about the idea of doing research at colleges of liberal arts and sciences. Because most people hear liberal arts and they don't think science, but we are going to share 4 amazing examples of how we are actually better at giving opportunities than you might imagine. I would like to hear from my friend Courtney next, please.
All right, so I'm going to jump in and tell you a bit about Davidson College in Davidson, North Carolina. My name is Courtney Campbell. I'm Senior Associate Dean of Admission and Financial Aid there. But being on a panel with 4 amazing schools, I think that we're all unified in the fact that our resources are dedicated to your undergraduate experience and the connections and the relationships that make that experience so strong. So more on that and how it applies to research in a bit. But I always find it's best to quickly highlight some of the differences that you might encounter at Davidson when we think about the other schools that are on the screen. We are the southernmost school in this group today. We are located 20 minutes north of Charlotte, which happens to be one of the fastest growing major metro areas in the country, particularly among particularly among people 35 and younger. So it's a sign of a dynamic community, both economically and in terms of what is going on. We are a student body of 2,000, and we are fully committed to teaching through research, which is a great way to focus our time together today. A couple of other quick distinctions about Davidson. We are a Division I school when it comes to athletics. We are in a very small number of a small school that competes at that level. We offer substantial funding for everything from internships, study abroad, to research. We have a fantastic Center for Entrepreneurialism and Innovation called The Hub that really supports students who may want to launch their own companies or initiatives. We are a need-blind school when it comes to our admission practices. We are also no loan in how we meet calculated financial need. And we are a QuestBridge partner school, as well as we offer a scholarship for outstanding students from the Chicago public school system called the Charles. Happy to field any questions of that offline. You can see how oddly my name is spelled, so it makes me easy to find after this session.
Thank you, Courtney, and I'd like to hear from Allie next.
Thank you very much, Daryl. I am representing the westernmost university here today. I'm coming to you from Denison University in Granville, Ohio. We're located about 25 to 30 minutes just east of Columbus, depending on how fast you drive. We're about 2,300 undergraduate students. Average class size is about 19. You have those faculty-student connections while you're in the classroom. We are 100% residential, so all of our students will reside in Granville on our campus, which we are incredibly proud of. We are a Division III school, so we have 26 Division III athletic teams here on campus. When our students are engaged in athletics, the arts, social justice, you name it, our students are incredibly engaged in many facets here on campus. In terms of the application and financial aid, we do meet 100% of demonstrated need for our students, and we are a test optional institution.
Thank you, Allie. Chuck?
Last and least, my name is Chuck Bachman. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admission at Lafayette College, which is located in Easton, Pennsylvania, which happens to also be in Eastern Pennsylvania. Easton is a smaller city of about 27,000, along with the cities of Bethlehem and Allentown. The whole region has a population of about 750,000. And so we're more of a suburban liberal arts college. We're located just over an hour west of New York City and about an hour and 15 minutes north of Philadelphia. Lafayette is strictly undergraduate. We are the home to about 2,500 students who come to us from 44 states or so and almost 60 different countries. So people from near and people from far. And average class size of about 18.6. So like my other colleagues, a school that really emphasizes the focus on the student and that close collaboration between faculty and students, which you'll hear later from us today as well. I think the thing that really distinguishes Lafayette from a lot of liberal arts colleges is what I define as being the best of both worlds. We are this undergraduate liberal arts college, but we also are home to a very highly rated ABET accredited engineering program. Additionally, while we are a smaller school, we do have the excitement and school spirit of 23 NCAA Division I athletic programs, being a member of the Patriot League. We also have over 200 activities you could theoretically be involved in, 7 dining venues and a food truck. So we do our best to come through on that freshman 15 promise for you. And so certainly lots more to talk about, but I'll stop here now and get us started on the meat of our presentation today.
So folks, a little bit more about Gettysburg College and why we're doing this session. I'm going to turn it over to Courtney first at Davidson, but part of the idea behind this, because we all have small student faculty ratios, because we all have relatively small classes, and because we are all teaching with top flight faculty. Top flight faculty, whose job it is to be primarily teachers, but who use the research they do to involve you in literally graduate level work as an undergraduate. We think it's important for you to understand that some of the best opportunities exist at these types of schools to set you up for your future, whether that future is medicine, environmental science, engineering, or some other science, technology, engineering, math-related program. We deliver the education to you in a personal way so that you don't just have a fulfilling experience as an undergrad, but your future is secured. So to learn some important things and a great program from Davidson, Courtney Campbell will talk about her favorite aspect of science at Davidson.
So it was really hard to narrow it down to one, but I think that I'm going to give you 1.5, by the way. It's just going to happen with me. But I think that to Daryl's point really quickly, all of our institutions have these top flight faculty members who choose to be at liberal arts colleges because of not just the opportunity to teach you and to help you learn through hands-on experiences, but because they also recognize that thoughtful, engaged students actually elevate their work. And that really speaks to the approach to research at Davidson. So we've historically offered a research program called the DRI, the Davidson Research Initiative, where students can apply for and receive funding for research of their own design. But they also have this phenomenal opportunity to learn from faculty members through those faculty members' research. And so I'm going to highlight 2 things really quickly. We have a program called RISE, and RISE is really short for Research and Science Experience. And what that does is it actually empowers underrepresented students in the field of research to really kind of cut their teeth and develop foundational understanding of building out their own research so they can stair step into research of their own design. One program that I'm really proud of because we have these two wonderful faculty members, Karen Byrne from our biology department and Cindy Hauser from our chemistry department, who started working together with students back in 2013 around the impact of hookah smoke on the lungs of young people. This program actually had its genesis in a student study abroad research component in Romania. The student came back to Karen in biology and Cindy in chemistry and really pitched this idea of a possibility to dig a little bit deeper. These professors thought this is an incredible idea because there's not a lot that's known about the impact on these alternative nicotine and smoke delivery approaches beyond just smoking and cigarettes. So they actually ended up applying for a National Institutes of Health grant, and those typically go to larger scale research institutions. Davidson was fortunate in 2016 to receive an NIH grant, the only small liberal arts college in the country to achieve that feat in many, many years, and we have seen that grant be renewed continually over the last 4 years. Here's the really cool thing, and it feels like talking about 2019 is a really long time ago at this point, but in 2019, the National Institute of Health actually approached Karen, Cindy, and the students who have continued to work with them, and many of those students have graduated and continue to work with them, and then we have new Davidson students that add into that work with each passing year. But the NIH came back to these professors and students and said, we'd like you to pivot your research because we think it has application for the impact of vaping on the lungs. And so because of the strength of the work that they had done and the research that was already in place, they were able to, one, garner that attention and additional funding, but also they had the ability, thanks to the quick thinking of the students, the relationship that existed with former students and these professors, to pivot. And the work that they were doing started to have very rapid implications for information that the CDC was using to instate best practices and warnings around vaping, particularly in young Americans. So I'll stop there, but I think that that's a really great way to highlight high-level work that grows from the intentionality and thoughtfulness of students and professors working together.
Thank you so much for that, Courtney. And before we go on to Allie, I just want to remind the students that if you have questions of any sort, not just about our own institutions, but about doing science and scientific research at liberal arts colleges, feel free to type your questions into the Q&A box, which I will be monitoring. So Allie, you are next.
Thank you very much, Daryl. So I know for many of you, it feels like a long way away that you could be thinking about career opportunities and internships and jobs post-graduation, but I really want to talk and highlight how research can set you up for success with those next steps. So as Courtney and Daryl have, and really Chuck and everyone has talked about, are those connections in the classroom that you're making. So first step of that is definitely research, is chatting with your faculty members, because they will serve as mentors throughout your research opportunities on campus. These are the connections that are going to last you a lifetime. So connecting with them, maybe to write a recommendation letter for a graduate school program or a PhD program post-graduation, is incredibly valuable. So keeping in contact with those faculty members is incredibly important as you're moving through your 4 years. So at Denison specifically, we do have a career center called the Austin Knowlton Career Center for career exploration, and they want to make sure that you're taking the right steps to be successful post-graduation. So we specifically have a 9-year advising program. So you have 4 years here to work with them specifically, to look for and to work with people who can help you find graduate programs who are the right fit. Whether you're hoping to stay in the Midwest or go to the East Coast, West Coast, maybe you want to go abroad post-graduation, you can start those conversations very early on with these people. We also want our students to take advantage of workshops and conferences that are all over the nation, all over the world. Not that COVID is a good thing, it's never a good thing.
But these conferences and workshops have gone virtual. So our students can attend job fairs that are online, whether you're interested in computer science, environmental sciences. If you just want to chat about what it's like to go to medical school, we can help you form these relationships, not only in these video conferences, but with different counseling offices as well. So you know what's going to happen and what steps that you need to take, and whether you need to take the GRE or the GMAT, and looking up what those even mean, right? So we have these services to walk you through. So when you are going through this process, we're not just saying go figure it out yourself. We're saying, hey, let's figure this out together and we'll walk you through this. But in addition to the workshops and conferences, also shadowing opportunities and internships are incredibly important, and research can help you with this as well. It's a great resume builder as you're going through the application process, but also it might spark the interest of some future employers. So whether it's a project that you're working specifically with certain faculty members, or it's an idea you came up with on your own that you want to work with, we want to connect you with alumni who might have the same interests, or parents of alumni, or future employers. Specifically for Denison, we do partner with University of California, San Francisco, where we send a couple students every summer to, probably not this summer, obviously, but to San Francisco to work with a parent, where they work in a lab and they help study spinal deformities in pediatric populations. So if you have an interest in the medical field, that might be a great opportunity. But I know many universities, and I'm sure everyone on this list has a partnership with some hospital. You have these very intimate shadowing opportunities, whether you're interested in pediatrics or orthopedics or whatever it is. We can connect you with those types of people to make sure that this is something you want to do, so you don't get to your senior year and say, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this, because your mentors have helped you through this, your research has pointed you in this direction, and then you go to the Licking County Memorial Hospital and you take classes and learn more about diabetes in the area. And then in the second class, you learn how to manage a chronic illness with a specific patient and help them through that. Also looking towards the future with postgraduate outcomes. Not every science major points you to the medical field, and that's totally okay, right? We have some very strong STEM fields, whether it's computer science or math, engineering, which I know Chuck's going to talk about in a little bit, but you can go to medical school, veterinary school, other health professions. I know gap years are also becoming a little bit more popular with our medical students. So you can go and do research at a place like Northwestern or Ohio State, University of Kentucky, and work with them on certain research projects. So not only do you have a great base at the undergraduate level, but you can take that to a next level at a larger university and then decide what your next steps might be after that opportunity as well. Postgraduate fellowships are also an opportunity for students where you could apply for the Fulbright scholarship or the Rhodes, where you can study internationally and advance your research at the next level. In addition to those bigger name fellowships, we also do have the National Science Foundation, specifically for those STEM students, where it's a 3-year grant where students will be going into their master's or doctoral programs and be looking into physics, computer science, biology. But your opportunities really are endless. Whether your research is in math or computer science or biochemistry, these experiences will help you into the future in moving into research opportunities, postgraduate, or the workforce.
Thank you so much, Allie. And here's what I want to emphasize for all of us, not just these 4 institutions, but several others. You're being taught by professors with doctorates. At most institutions that are not focused purely on undergraduate teaching, the best research opportunities go to people who are pursuing a master's or a doctoral degree. So at our places, it is strictly about undergraduate research preparing you for your future. So thank you, Courtney and Allie, for emphasizing those pieces. At Gettysburg College, one of the unique programs is called the Cross-Disciplinary Science Institute at Gettysburg College. And because we all have nicknames for our programs, We call it X-SIG. And here's how it works. I want you to imagine an imaginary wheel of science with opposites. So biology and mathematics, health sciences and computer science, biochem and molecular biology, and psychology. What we do through that program, which begins in the summer following your first year, is first, we pay you to do research. Second, we pay for your housing. So you never have to choose between, do I get a summer job or do I do research? Because your summer job is research. Here's how it works. And this is something that many of our institutions are tackling. There's a little thing you might have heard about called COVID-19, a little pandemic. So our math people are helping the bioinformatics side with our health sciences people who are keeping track on the up-to-date and ever-changing data on transmission, infections, and clusters. But what your job is to take a current societal problem and look at solutions. At all of our places, all the most sophisticated equipment you could put your hands on is just for you. So whether it's something like an anatomage table, which basically looks like a giant smartphone that uses actual scans, three-dimensional scans of cadavers, so that you can isolate the circulatory system, the nervous system, the skeletal structure, organs, and no matter what you do with your hands, you can move these images in 3 dimensions to examine things. Or if you're a mathematician, trying to solve the rates of clusters, the rates of infection, how quickly they move over a certain time. You're going to work closely with a biologist so that your math is not just an empty word problem of the sort you have to do in high school, but instead it's going to be something real, something tangible. All of that research is driven directly by a faculty member who is your mentor, but the bonus, again, with Gettysburg, Davidson, Denison, Lafayette, a bunch of great places, is that you are going to have the opportunity to publish that research when you might still be a teenager. These are opportunities that many people pursuing a master's or doctoral degree won't get the chance to do. So the bonus is this. Let's assume that the pandemic will end at some point, and that means that all of us can fly you to these scholarly conferences in which you will be one of very few undergraduates at a conference in which most people already have a PhD. You want to talk about career security that Ali mentioned? This is the difference. So whether it's pharmaceutical research or medicine, or you decide to become someone in the finance industry who trades stocks on science and technology related things, you're going to be better informed. You're going to be ready to make good decisions, and you're going to make informed decisions about what your career could mean. We will expect you to study abroad and continue your research overseas if you want, but the bottom line, again, and I will say it many times, is that the focus of these institutions is on undergraduates of the sort that you're going to be. So we're not deferring you 6 years to figure out when you can do research. You will start as a teen and continue into your early 20s. Chuck Bachman, inform our audience, please.
I'd be honored to. And I think that there's a theme coming through here is active, engaged, participatory learning. That is fundamental to what we do. So you have to ask yourself, are you an active, engaged, participatory learner? Or are you more of a passive, absorb things? And not that there's anything better or worse. We are all different. But for the students who enjoy rolling up their sleeves and being active, engaged participants, a liberal arts college is the place for you. And a lot of times, though, there's the compromise. Well, do you have the resources and the facilities? And I would argue that we do. And I think the commitment an institution has will be reflected in how they invest in their students. And one of the ways we've done that at Lafayette is our year-old Rockwell Integrated Sciences Center. Now, Winston Churchill has said, you know, we build our buildings and we shape our buildings, and that thereafter they shape us. And I think the commitment we have to technology and investing in our students and our facilities cannot be underestimated. And at our Rockwell Integrated Sciences Center, it is a $75 million state-of-the-art LEED Platinum home for our biology, computer science, environmental studies programs. It is also the home of our Office of Sustainability. And two other programs I want to highlight. The Hansen Center for Inclusive STEM Education and our Dyer Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. Now, the Hansen Center more or less serves as a home of research and programming and addresses the national need to recruit more women and underrepresented populations, underrepresented minorities to the sciences. The mission is to coordinate and support underrepresented students and faculty in the STEM areas and really, you know, develop inclusive learning techniques and approaches to STEM education, thinking outside the box and developing a research and curriculum opportunities in these STEM fields. Will extend, I think, and advance the practices and our understanding of inclusive and equity in STEM. The Dyer Center for Innovation and Design is about 5 years old at Lafayette. And through that, you know, it is so often when you think entrepreneurship, you think, whoa, economics and business. What's that doing in the science building? Well, isn't so much what we see innovative in technology and cutting edge. Entrepreneurship is interdisciplinary, truly interdisciplinary. And what we do at the Dyer Center is really students learn design thinking and financial analysis, product and idea prototyping, and the marketing skills. So all of a sudden we talk about interdisciplinary learning. Those weren't just science terms, but those are scientists learning other terms, that tangential relationship that occurs. So through courses, co-curricular programming, internships, mentoring and competitions, students really will engage outside the box thinking, which will prepare you for the real world, as they say. So really the Dyer process includes, and I'm going to read these because I don't want to misstate any of them. An idea is born from a student, a class, a passion, a news event, or a brainstorming session. You engage other innovative thinkers to that team. You identify and leverage needed resources. You experiment and prototype an idea as an object, product, or solution. That starts to sound like scientific method we're all familiar with a little bit, but extends to other disciplines. Start to see the point. Network with key collaborators and influencers. Test what was created. Scientific method again, right? And move forward or pivot to new ideas. I just described the path of entrepreneurship that parallels scientific method. So just as in, you know, so many different opportunities there. And I mentioned in terms of innovation and unique aspects, Lafayette is for over 150 years has been the home of an institution that integrates the liberal arts with a highly ABET accredited engineering program. We offer programs in mechanical engineering, civil and environmental engineering, computer and electrical engineering, chemical engineering and biomedical, and we have a couple other programs as well. 11th in the nation in U.S. News and World Report's rankings of undergraduate engineering programs. And the program focuses on collaborative learning. It focuses on problem solving in a real world, because in essence, what engineers do, simply put, is they make people's lives better. Yeah, you can talk about problem solving and everything else, but the bottom line of every engineer is to make people's lives better. Keyword people's, not often in world by yourself, but engaging with engineers and scientists, but also others as well. So cutting edge facilities, our students lead active lives. About 2/3, over 60% of our engineers also study abroad. It's not mutually exclusive. It's that integrated experience. And you're going to find those opportunities uniquely tied to what you will find at a liberal arts college. Also, as an engineer in our engineering program, 36% of our engineers are women. So again, thinking outside the box, inclusive learning, active, engaged learning. Question is, do you want it? Are you ready for it? For our institution and many others, we could be that wonderful fit for you. Your job is to research us a little bit more. I'll stop it there, Daryl.
Thank you so much, Chuck. So what I'd like to have the students do is to please indulge us, and even though these aren't questions, if you could put the types of science, either majors or careers you're interested in, into the Q&A, that would be great. I just want to see. So while you are typing those into the Q&A box, and again, either science careers or science majors that you're thinking about, I have a question for Courtney, and that is, what should high schoolers be doing to be best prepared to enter a successful undergraduate career in science?
I think that, there are many things, and Daryl could probably see me like unmute myself and start leaning in because he knew I wanted to talk. So thanks for throwing me a bone there. But, I think that there are so many things. I think that students often don't see just how much power they have in the process to empower themselves. And I think that when students start to recognize that, that's often when they start to think, oh, a liberal arts school could be for me, because there's a level of thoughtfulness and introspection that you go through in this college search process. And so one of the things you think about is you think about how you thrive, right? You think about what brings out the best in you as a student and as a member of a community. You think beyond just what you want to do. You think about how and where you want to do it, and what are those really essential items beyond just what you're going to study. Because as you're coming into the Q&A and you're entering the things that you're interested in, know that at our schools, yes, you're going to get to pursue those, but it's really reflecting on the other things that you could tap into. So you heard both Chuck and Daryl talk about being problem solvers and looking for solutions. And I think one of the things that liberal arts schools do really well across the board, because we encourage students to move between disciplines, is to connect the dots, and to connect the dots from seemingly disparate areas and realize that they're all interconnected. As you develop critical thinking skills, as you develop communication skills, they make you better at problem solving. I think that being open is something that's really important for students at this point in the process. It's being open to places that you may have thought, oh, well, maybe that's a little too small. Or even, as we all represent small places, maybe it's also being open to larger places. It's not drawing a line in the sand based upon an assumption you have. It goes to what Chuck closed with, and that's digging a little bit deeper and doing your research. And yes, connecting with people like us, but also going, get out of my way, Davidson, get out of my way, Courtney. I want to talk to actual students. I want to talk to professors. As we're all sitting here nodding at you as I'm saying this, they know what's coming. When we're telling you that our faculty are on our campus first and foremost because they love to teach and they cherish the connection that they have with their students, that means that they welcome hearing from prospective students. They love sharing information about their courses, their research, the work that they do with their students, and what those students go on to do. I think that, I think back on my experience as a first-generation student at a very large research institution, which I loved. And I was one of those weirdos. I had a humanities major and I had a STEM major. I double majored. And, You know, I think about my experience researching in the lab. I cleaned test tubes. I wasn't driving my own research. That came later. And that's something that our students, you're still going to clean test tubes if test tubes are involved, but you're going to do the higher level stuff too that really prepares you for your what's next. And then the last thing that I'm just going to throw out is something that my mother said to me years and years ago. And I think Daryl's heard me say this in other panels. And I think that it speaks volumes to what the liberal arts can do for you, whether you want to be an engineer, a doctor, or you don't know yet, you just know it's related to STEM. The truth is, all of you are likely preparing for careers that don't even exist yet in their current form. But what my mother said to me is, Courtney, you're so lucky. You'll probably have 8 or 9 careers in your life, not 8 or 9 jobs. Right? 8 or 9 careers. And so that ability to ebb and flow and grow with the economy, to follow your entrepreneurial spirit, if it's there, to test the waters and say, okay, maybe that's not for me. That's freedom and flexibility that you actually have at your fingertips at places like ours. And I think that being open to possibility informs how open you are to your college search. So super long answer, Daryl, but there you have it.
And a perfect answer. And the next question will be for Allie. We have about 8 or 9 minutes left. And it's regarding the wonderful things that students put into the chat, which I'm going to read. People are interested in biological science, cell biology, evolutionary research, psychology, pre-med, physical therapy, orthopedics, environmental science. These are wonderful. So as we look at these items, how should people prepare to make those decisions when they're in college? And when do they have to make those decisions on what they're going to pursue?
So when you're making those decisions, at least I'm speaking for a dentist, and it might be the same for everyone else, but you must have a major by the end of your sophomore year. So you really have 4 semesters to find something you love to study. And you can start taking those classes your first semester of your first year. I know we all have core requirements that we would like our students to take so that they can graduate and to be very well-rounded. But honestly, we want you to be in the classroom and in the lab room starting your first semester of your first year so that you can determine, yes, I love cell biology and this is for me, and oh my goodness, I want to dive deeper and this is the only thing I want to do. Hopefully it's not the only thing you want to do. But you might decide that cell biology just isn't for you, and that's totally okay. You have time to figure out what you want to study, and by making those connections with faculty members, by connecting with maybe a teaching assistant in the classroom, chatting with some upperclassmen students, speaking with the Career Center while you're on campus, to really dive into, okay, I really enjoy XYZ. Here are some classes that you need to take, but you can also connect with your faculty advisor as well. All first year students are assigned a faculty advisor to help you through the class selection process. I don't believe at any one of these universities that you're seeing on the screen that we just say, go figure out how to plan classes, good luck to you, hope you graduate in 4 years, bye. We're not going to do that to you. So they might be able to suggest faculty members that you would have a great connection with, whether those are research opportunities, whether those are classes that they think you should try out. They want you to do that, have that deeper dive starting in your first year, so you're not in your junior year still wondering what you should be studying. So you might know that you want the sciences, so take a cell biology class, try a physics course, maybe take an environmental studies class where you go into a biological reserve and you're up to your shins in mud and you are categorizing fish. I don't know. But you can be as hands-on as you would like to be with those types of courses as well. And as you progress, you 100% will be. But we try to get you into those classes as early as possible because we want to make sure that this is something you can be passionate about, that you are excited to get a degree in. And whether or not you decide to go into the sciences post-graduation, totally up to you. But we want to provide you with all the resources throughout your 4 years to ensure that you are graduating in the best place possible.
Thank you, Allie. Next question is for you, Chuck.
Add something, Daryl? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just one thing, if I can follow up on Allie's thought, you've all heard the expression, you don't know what you don't know. And think about, in high school, and we'll use biology as an example, okay? Maybe you've had Bio 1, maybe a Bio 2 or an AP Bio, maybe an anatomy course. For the most part, that's pretty much it. I welcome you to go to any college's online catalog or their department webpage for biology and look under biology and look at the variety and the depth of the courses that are offered under that general range of biology. Same thing falls under chemistry, physics, you name it. You're used to 1 or 2 courses in high school. They're going to be exponentially greater numbers for exploration. And then when you get to graduate school, there's all these areas of graduate programs on these all subdivisions of biology. So it is a learning process. And you have some thoughts now, but I also encourage you to be open-minded and explore the curriculum at the college you will choose to call home.
We've known each other entirely too long, Chuck, because my question was going to be, how can students explore beyond the not as many options as high school students use? And Courtney, I see that you've unmuted. So what wisdom do you have to share? Thank you.
I think that this is not a phenomenon that I see only at Davidson. I think it's a strength within the liberal arts, and I'm seeing more and more schools go this way. So when I talk to our chemistry and biology faculty, they actually address this by kind of blowing up their programs a few years ago and making it possible for students to not need to progress in a linear fashion, so that students have broader exposure to all of the different facets of biology within biology, chem within chem, breakouts of neuroscience, the different combinations that exist when these varying departments come together to create interdisciplinary minors or other programs. But what we're finding is when students are able to move through a biology or a chemistry or a neuroscience curriculum in a way that's non-linear in fashion, yes, you're going to take the intro class to start, but they allow you to test the waters and play around a little bit. It really provides you, and to the question Allie answered, it really informs you, oh, this is my path. This is what I'm looking for. And it also helps to identify those faculty members who might be great partners for you. So I think that liberal arts schools are a little bit more nimble in the way that we will play with our curriculum and the different things that we offer to complement that curriculum.
Thank you, Courtney. And to those who are tuning in either now or watching this on a recording, stay curious, stay brilliant, and don't be afraid to stay brilliant. Be open-minded, as Chuck said, because it's not just about being intellectually open-minded, it's about being open-minded about the opportunities that Courtney and Allie talked about. Because being open-minded allows you to connect with 7 or 8 or 9 careers, to adjust to the world that is going to keep creating opportunities for you that don't exist because they haven't yet imagined what those would be. Imagined. I want you to keep your imagination afloat. I want you to stay excited about learning. I want you to be motivated to stay great, so that it's not just about getting into colleges, it's about succeeding when you are there, and it's about being able to take risks so that you indeed understand that science isn't just about solving problems. It's learning how to learn. It's being in the moment and knowing processes that lead to new discoveries. You all will get there. You all will be successful. You just have to remember to stay confident enough to be successful and understand that failure isn't really failure. It's just an opportunity to learn. To my co-panelists, Courtney and Allie and Chuck, my sincere thanks. You were fantastic. And to our students, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much to our panelists and to everyone who participated. Just a reminder, if you could stick around for a moment, you'll have a very quick 4-question survey. Please sign up for more sessions at iacac.org, and all sessions will be available afterwards as a recording. Thank you very much. Have a great day.